Hi, I'm Susan Ellis. I'm president of Energize Incorporated. We're trainers, consultants, and publishers in volunteer development. And I'm actually the columnist on volunteers for the nonprofit Times and have been doing that for 20 years. The question I've been asked, and here we are at the National Conference on Volunteering and Service, is what are some of the trends that are percolating in the field at the moment? And there are many, there always are. I'd like to make a comment about what I see in some ways as two contradictory trends. One trend is the continuing emphasis on single days of service. The idea that a single day of service is something that, for example, corporations love to send their people out as a team to do. But we're also seeing even less than a day of service because we've got micro-volunteering opportunities, things people want to do online, things people want to do by their cell phones. There's a group called the Extraordinaries that is pushing that. So we get this ever-decreasing amount of attention to service. The contradiction is that on the other side of the coin, there are people here talking a great deal about pro bono consulting type volunteering, highly skilled management capacity consultancy volunteering. And those, almost by definition, if what your aim is to do something really meaningful to help an organization get better at what it does, those are really longer term assignments. So on the one hand, we're pushing people to single days of service. On the other hand, we're talking about some very intensive kind of work. And it is interesting to me that those two things are going on at the same time. Another trend that's being discussed here, and it's not surprising that it's coming up as a subject, but it is disturbing that so few people seem to have an answer, is the issue of as money gets tight, are volunteers going to be utilized to replace paid staff? And that's always a misnomer because you don't replace paid staff with volunteers. You need 30 people to replace a full-time paid staff, and then you need a paid person to supervise those 30 people, so it sort of goes circularly. But I think it has a lot to do with the fact that the national service participants, the AmeriCorps people, VISTA people, have in fact, under the Recovery Act, been increased in numbers, and they are less expensive staff in some ways. So I think all of volunteering is getting a broad brushstroke because there's so much emphasis on increasing the numbers of people in national service where they do receive some enabling funds and where they do work full-time. But the truth is, will always be true, that there are so many more multiples of volunteers who get no money whatsoever, who do not volunteer full-time, but who give consistent service on a regular basis over time. And there's a little bit of the tail wagging the dog with the emphasis on national service and not necessarily on volunteers themselves.